Hey all, I apologize. I forgot to include the option for the clipping mask within the instructions for this, so I just wanted to go ahead and add this in as well. So another option for this is creating a clipping mask for this. So instead of having the option of the shape be knocked out so that you can see through it, we can also just either with one of these additional textures or with some marks that we've made on our own. We can also just add a specific color to one of these items. Let's go ahead and grab one of these textures over here as well. I'm going to copy that, come back over to my composition and edit paste, Command V. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this texture the same color that I have here of my marks. So the other option is simply creating a clipping mask for these different textures within these particular shapes as well. So this would give you the ability to change the color of these so that it's not necessarily seeing through the shape, but you're applying an additional color to these as well. So let's say we wanted to have something like these markings going on, this sort of harsh texture in this shape, but we only want it to fit within this yellow shape that we have here. So the first thing that we'd want to do would be to select the different objects that we have. So we have these marks here as well as this texture that we've brought in. So we want to select both of those together by holding the Shift button down. You can click on the first shape right here, and then by holding Shift, select on the second texture behind it. And we want to go up to Object and Group. So it's really important that we group all of the textures that we want to live within the clipping mask before we apply that actual clipping mask. And the next thing we want to do is copy this shape in the background here. I'm going to zoom in so that I can click on that actual shape. And we're going to want to pull that in front of those textures to apply the clipping mask. So once I have that shape selected, I can go up to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste in front. Now, ideally that pasted in front of all these textures, but we can actually tell that it hasn't. It's pasted in front of that other shape, but not actually in front of the textures because we can still see them. So we want to actually go up to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front to make sure that that shape, which we can see now, is in front of our textures. So once we have that shape in front of the textures that we want to live in this clipping mask, we already have the shape selected. I can just hold the Shift button to select the grouping of the textures behind it. And then all we have to do is go up to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. And the shortcut for that is Command 7 as well. And once we do that, you'll see that now the particular textures that we've called out are actually only within this particular shape. We've created a clipping mask for that particular shape, just like we did in Photoshop as well. So you can always go in and double click into this clipping mask. You'll notice as soon as I double click in, it starts to enter into the clipping group here. So this is the entire group or the entire shape. If you wanted to, let's say we wanted to change the color to that to be something different. Let's go with an orange here. And then on top of that, you can actually double click into the particular group as well. So we have two textures within this group. We have this texture here and this texture here. So if you wanted to change one of those colors even ever so slightly as well, you could do that as well. And you can tell that we've not only entered the clipping group, but we've actually entered the group as well. And we can either double click out of that, or we can just hit the back button here in order to exit out of that clipping mask. And now you can see that I've changed the individual textures within that clipping mask as well by double clicking into that. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's applying a clipping mask to these textures, which again is not going to necessarily knock the texture out. It's actually creating a texture on top of the existing color, different from the previous one we were doing, which was creating a texture that was making that shape transparent, like we can see here. So we still have our original color here, and then our clipping mask, which is following that shape to go over that. So if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, and please refer to the other two videos as well for this particular practice. Thank you.